Yeah, they do have two very strong laning supports now. They've even got a pretty nasty tri-lane if they so chose to go that way. Like if they could get a good 1v1 matchup against the Mars, could look to potentially go aggro. It does limit Vici's options a little bit here. Likely just going to grab their position 5, though I don't know what form that's going to take exactly.
They still need a frontliner on RNG's side.
Yeah.
For the first 15 minutes. Snapfire really doesn't want to be the one doing it, even if you're playing it as a position 3. Elder Titan? Okay. Something a little bit different. Going back to
RNG Clockwork, maybe?
Day.
No, Centaurs. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's your front line.
Yeah. Definitely lets everybody run in. Can also be relatively early, like, pipe carrier if required. A little bit interesting to see the Centaur picked into the Mars, because I think when Mars was really coming into the pro scene at first, there was this conversation around, like, oh, he's sort of a counter to Centaur because of the arena versus Stampede. But Vici not going Underlord. This is a mid Underlord.
I mean, it could be a mid Elder Titan. We saw it. I was casting the other day. It was in response to a Meepo pick. Not seeing the Meepo just yet, but yeah, I mean, it could still be this mid laner. You know, I know you said you weren't really feeling it all too much, but
yeah,
it's a possibility.
Man, Vici's lineup is weird.
Mid Mars possibility.
Triple melee, not all that much. Like high ground siege. Just I guess I can kind of see there's a lot of like AoE teamfight and value with the Firestorm, and Underlord just an amazing hero against Phantom Lancer in general, and also good against Centaur. So if you're just going for the, you know, the 1-to-1 counters, Underlord definitely looking good there.
I mean, just in terms of natural ability to brawl, right? You've got the Natural Order on the Elder Titan, and you've got the Atrophy Aura on the Underlord, which means that you're probably going to get the better side of any kinds of trades, and that enables something like a Void Spirit to get in there and kind of do the guerrilla warfare style of being on the front lines, while still having, you know, Mars, ET, and Underlord to tank up against a lot of this aggression that might be coming up.
All right, Matt. Predict the lanes. That's what I need you to do here, because I'm lost.
Side?
Yeah, just on Vici. I think RNG, it's RNG. I kind of get it. Vici, I'm lost. I know
5 ET. 5 ET. I think that one's pretty set.
Okay. But who's 4? It could be
Void
Void, Lena, or Mars, right?
I'm gonna go in order from 1 to 5. I'm gonna go Mars, Lena, Underlord, Void Spirit, Elder Titan.
Okay, so double melee supports.
Yes.
Okay. Right. And then what are the lanes? Just standard 4 with the 3 in the off lane.
I suppose, like, you can get some pretty decent little combos off with the Pit of Malice and the Void Spirit.
I'm just so confused. This lineup is real wacky.
It is.
It's and okay, RNG are just like, well, they're just gonna fight us all the time, so let's just take some team fight, I guess.
Alright, well, I'm wrong straight away. So it's Void Spirit mid, at least.
Okay.
Okay, so just those two swapped around then. Void and Lena. So support Lena, pos 4, combining that together with the Underlord, and DY probably going with Eurus.
Man, I really wanted it to be mid
Core AT?
Well, no, not core ET, but like mid Underlord. But I guess
the Yang Gang will not have that.
No.
10 seconds.
Hold on. Setsu Tidehunter.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah. Right, I guess.
Let's go, game 3.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really thinking about the roles and the fact that they've already got this Centaur. So, yeah, Setsu Tidehunter. What on earth is this game become, Danog?
It's become very entertaining, that's what.
It has. I'm very interested to see how this one goes. Is Tidehunter even that good here? Like, I guess Vici do have a ton of melee heroes, but it's also a really long cooldown. Or
yeah, but you could just look to go that carry style, max out your anchor smash. If you're gonna put him mid, right, he's gonna get the levels early on, and so then what can you do when they try and brawl super early? You know, you might rotate through to a 4 Protect 1 style once Tidehunter hits level 7, or perhaps wait for level 10 just to enable that brawling style.
Yeah, I guess they just wanted like a fighting hero.
Yeah, and then Monet can just clean up the map after that.
Right. But why not just pick like a Viper or something?
Because where's the fun in that?
Right.
I don't think he'll do it this time around. In my pubs when I played Tidehunter like unranked, just with some mates, I like to do Tidehunter Ags. I think it's really fun.
Okay.
Prepare for
just
battle.
shooting the big gush of water at people.
We saw the minus armor in the previous game. It's pretty good. So, yeah, maybe that's what we get here.
I mean, especially going up against 4 melee heroes, likelihood is you're going to hit at least 3.
Man, this is going to be a very interesting game to watch.
That's what we came here to see. I mean, we talked about teams using this as like their proving grounds or their test bed, yeah. And even though there's money on the line, these guys are like, well, screw it. You know, we're happy to try out a few new things and translate into the later stages of the season. Then we'll stick with it. It's never bad to have an ace in the hole.
Yeah, and the stakes for each individual game or each individual series are only so high, as well. And if you can try out a strat and have it as a pocket strat later on and maybe a bigger event, can definitely be a big thing. Got a little bit of outpost trading going on. Looks like nothing too interesting going to be happening with the bounties. So we have any interesting starting items. ET's got boots. Lots of regen on this lane, and not a whole lot of mana regen, as Monet coming up this hill gonna get completely forced out. But he's got his ring of regen, so I think he's gonna be okay.
As is tradition.
Okay, so ET not TPing bottom. Spirit making a grand journey all the way across.
Hello, bounty room.
Oh yeah, hello. Nice to see you. Is DY trying to line this up? Oh, he is. No. Alright, plus 46. Let's go, boys. Boots first. Slap it up. September's actually going for a little shredder first.
Yeah. I mean, I think against an ET, it's probably one of the only heroes that it's okay to do that, you know?
Yeah, just completely denied all the shenanigans. Super and POW trading. POW this time around on the Lina, not on the Crystal Maiden, so has a little bit more fighting power up against the Lich early on. I really want to see how this mid lane matchup goes. Is Tidehunter like secret counter to Void Spirit?
I don't think it's necessarily the counter to Void Spirit. I think it's just strong against the overall lineup. He's happy to continuously push these waves in. Void Spirit, he has an okay time with last hitting underneath towers, but if you've got that Anchor Smash debuff on you, it becomes a little bit more difficult.
Guess it's just kind of running at him non-stop. Ooh, did get denied there. He does not have the flashiest cosmetics on his Tide, so I don't know if this is a regular thing for Setsu. Ooh, he's now getting dragged. Well, it gets dragged towards the tower, not going to get dragged in. Fortunately there for Ori.
What's he got? He's got like a special fish and the axe, right? That's about it?
And
the shell.
No, the offhand is just the default. He's just got the shell and he's got 2 common items. That's it.
Disgusting.
Bleh. Meanwhile, we've got is that the Crimson version of the spear for... No, it's not. For Mars. Gotta do some quick cosmetic review.
What's your favorite cosmetic overall, that you have?
Ooh, Golden Ribbon Cape, for sure. No questions asked.
got like a TI2 Tidehunter Hammerhead Shark.
Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. Whoop. September with the courier snipe. Just caught that one on camera. Little Shredder is on cooldown for the time being. What is happening down here, bot? It's kind of a weird lane. Mars versus Centaur. They're both getting pretty good farm.
PYW dropping a little low.
Yeah, but meanwhile, it is actually going to be the first blood. Super getting taken out by Yang, just getting punched down. 2 points up in the Atrophy Aura. This hero is so annoying for Phantom Lancer. Just max Atrophy Aura, you get a Crimson Guard at some point. It's like, what do you even do? You just don't do any damage.
Yeah, it means
him.
you need to be really on point with when you're doing these rotations, like as a team, not even just as the Phantom Lancer himself. Like Crimson Guard's popped, retreat until it's the duration is done, and then go back in. But I think Vici are good enough that they're not going to let them exploit that sort of thing.
Flywind getting pushed back at bottom. Eurus knocking him into the tower one more time. DY, don't know how much there is that he can do here. Push forward. It might actually be DY in some danger. Yeah, he'll get brought down. Very nicely done with the cookie from September, and Flywind's got a salve, so he's actually going to be just fine.
I was just about to say before those 2 kills happened, that just because of all the different strength heroes on this map, all of the passive damage block coming out from things like Tidehunter, Centaur, very, very beefy. You don't want to be hitting him in the bulwark eventually on the Mars. Probably not going to see too many kills, but definitely buck the trend.
Supports can still die at least, but yeah, I think these team fights are going to be kind of slap fights a lot of the time. Like, yeah, not both teams are very tanky, but neither team does insane damage either. So it's I guess some of it does depend on item builds, of course, but a bit tricky. Monet putting some damage on the PYW. Get the slowdown. Super's coming over here with the Frost Shield. They could have done a little bit more damage perhaps, but Super also wants to go running after these bounty runes. Might just go running for the Radiant side one. Don't know if he actually wants to try and contest against the Lino. POW needs to... Well, not going to hold on to the stun, in fact. Just going to go straight into this fight. Now the Frost Shield comes out. The Frost Blast is coming up soon. Super backing off, though. Stun still lands. Alright, Frost Blast. If he can get up the hill, maybe he can salve. Alright, there you go. POW still chasing. Cancel that salve. Is going to have another Frost Blast. Nuke. No one's going for bounties. September's coming up here. They're going to look for the turnaround, but I think Super is dead. September, can he find the turnaround kill? It doesn't actually have the Fire Snap cookie, but... Alright, still gets the revenge kill, and we'll still be able to go grab one of the bounties, it looks like. Yeah. He's got it.
Yang occupied in the lane. He's going this aggressive build as well with a phase boot, so he wants to constantly be running. Well, actually, he left the bounty as well for Yang to just pick it up.
I'm lagging just a touch. Alright,
It's alright.
Mid lane seems to be going pretty well for Tide. PYW comes in here. I think maybe, what, bottle refill? We're going to get the taunt back. This is pretty good damage on the Tidehunter. Setsu does have a Fairy Fire to maybe get out of here as he gets the 3-man Anchor Smash. Lots of damage reduction. Can they chase him down? Good stun from PYW. Important that he came in there on full mana and making the best of a bad situation after trading his life at the top, getting the bottle refill, and then getting a quick kill mid.
Yeah. Nicely done by Flywind as well to get a lot of farm happening on this bot side of the map. We've seen him just honestly run past the bars, just underneath the tower, just to say, well, you can't really do anything to kill me, so should be right.
Getting gone on. Stunned up. Lina is coming in to try and help out. Yang surviving a little bit longer, but stun only going to connect onto one. Monet, nicely done with the doppelganger. Continues the pursuit forward. Super kind of low. PYW going to look for the turnaround, but no stun connection. And DY does have the stomp. Oh, and they've actually got another stun soon. PYW just managing to land it. They will grab that kill. September out of mana, and DY still chasing in. Ori not quite there with the Aether Remnant. And that will mean that September's able to get himself out. As Underlord just comes TPing straight onto this outpost that they've already got.
Now I'm lagging a little bit now. Are you getting that?
No. But I imagine there's just some slight connection hiccups happening.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping any frames, so it's just the connection to the game server.
So I'm thinking what might happen now is that something else is happening. Yang, a little trouble? No.
No, I think it's fine.
Tide farming up a little bit. Okay, so he's got the 4 points in his Anchor Smash. You've got these neutral items coming up now. He's nearly finished up the Buckler, so I think that's what it's going to be. Buckler, get a first few neutral items, get the boots on this Centaur, and then try and make something happen.
And just kind of keep running at them. Like you said, just make space for the Phantom Lancer, really, right? You got these two big beefy boys that can just run at buildings, force rotations. They are making a go on the Tide here. Decent damage. Ori committing that first Astral Step, jumping forward. Second Astral Step. Nicely done with the Remnant, but Setsu still tanking up. Manages to dodge the stun. He's got the Ravage available. Drops it out onto 3 September. Can they get him out of here? He's now jumped into the arena. I'm not sure that's where you want to be, Snapfire. And Eurus finds a double kill with a very timely rotation to the mid lane. And that was with the Ravage used as well. Not a very good fight for RNG.
Not quite as slow now.
Kind of easier caught between a rock and a hard place with having to rotate all of these heroes to try and stop the aggression that RNG are wanting to do. Like, you can tell that when Tide Hunters come online, they want to start making stuff happen, but of course that means that PL starts having an impact. But by rotating all of these heroes except for Yang, you can still curb a lot of what this PL's trying to do. So, yeah, good choice with who exactly is being rotated.
Monet into the jungle, where he's going to stay for the foreseeable future, is going to be going for this full hood build up, and then also probably picking up the diffusal blade shortly after that. How's the itemization looking for Vici? Looks like Eurus is going for a Deso. Yang just picking up a hood. Vici coming in here and swiping some stacks, continuing the pressure.
Alright, so 70 seconds on this Tidehunter Ravage. Still doesn't have the biggest mana pool, and getting slightly closer to that Vlad's offering, but not quite there yet. So, could they look to fight around the bounty runes? Maybe. It's going to be a little rough for him.
How do RNG leverage this Centaur? Because he's got the #1 net worth, he's got a Vanguard, and he's got a hood. Surely he can do something to give RNG a little bit of an edge. With how his game's been going.
As you said, he's got the Vanguard, but he doesn't have the Crimson Guard queued up at all. And when you're coming up against this...
Damage onto Setsu. This fire is doing a ton of damage. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Astral Step quickly through. Super now also getting stunned. September will get him out of harm's way. And Vici just running at him. And they didn't get any experience there. Oh, DY, can he finish this kill? No, not quite. Alright, I think actually his spirit ran out there.
Alright, so Tide at least has the Vlads now. He's got the phase boots queued up next. I don't know if that's the way to go about it. Yeah, you need to be doing more damage and putting some pressure on, but the way that he's died these 3 times has been because of magic damage.
Can I just say that this is very reminiscent of my efforts to play like mid or safe lane Tide. It seems like a good idea, and then just like you're like, oh, I've got this lifesteal, great, I've got so much survivability, and then you're just waddling around in teamfights getting spells thrown at you, and you're like, okay, how do I actually do any damage? Like, what do I do with my farm? And Vici just constantly pressuring them. Flywind now makes an appearance up at top, but no initiation really. He's just here to be a wall.
Yeah, it's one of those heroes where you definitely need to win the laning stage, or at least win these early rotations that are happening. But you can see here there's about 8 heroes grouped up on the top side of the map, and he's not one of them.
There's a Ravage ready. Setsu's trying to connect to his team here, but he is being spotted rotating over. So Vici just run in towards the Tide. Heading back past him now. Nice little remnant. And they are leading RNG on a merry chase, though they're not too unhappy. Monet has found a little bit of a foothold over in the Radiant jungle to start grabbing a little bit of farm. And will finally grab this outpost, though. Too late for experience at this stage.
Yeah, he's got his his power tread, so he's able to farm a little easier, have some of that survivability. Again, before any sort of damage items, he's building up into the Hood of Defiance, just realizing that it's going to be him not throwing away a bunch of kills, similar to the Tidehunter, that's going to be winning them this game. It's just a game of survivability at this point.
And they really just do need to play patient for a while. Need that Phantom Lancer to come online. How much of a clock do you feel like Vici are on? Is it like, is 3-slot PL too much? Can they deal with even a 4 or 5 slotted PL just because of the heroes that they have?
I don't think they can deal with a 4 or 5. I think they can probably deal with a 2. And you can see how aggressive they're trying to be. You know, this top tower is already at half HP. Mid, maybe they're looking to prioritize the top side. Force out that glyph early on. I don't know, it just seems like a little disjointed right now as they're going for the smoke though. This is exactly what needs to happen. You see the line drawn down to the bottom side of the map. They know that that's where Monet's farming, and that's what they need to do to slow down this game.
They do have a little bit of vision, but not really in the right area. They just have a sense that he's going to be farming over here somewhere. Gonna try and head to the Ancients, and good intuition. Monet's coming up the hill at this exact moment. Can they get the lockdown onto him? Though the Stampede gets popped immediately. The Remnant looking for him, but he pops the Doppelganger immediately. And he'll get out of there. And now RNG looking for some kind of a turnaround, perhaps. Though, hard to get in there when they've just popped the Stampede defensively.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. If you're trying to rotate a 3-man smoke onto a Phantom Lancer, you need the instant lockdown afterwards. And none of those heroes really provide it.
Yeah, so it kind of ended up being big waste of time for them, unfortunately. They were really just relying on the Void Spirit, like finding him and landing the Remnant first, right? That was the only way that was going to work.
But you're going to get revealed, like it was daytime. So
yeah,
that sort of stuff is going to get revealed. You're going to see them come through with the smoke. I'm a little surprised that they didn't try and make something happen with Yang. Of course he's farming, but he at least has that Pit of Malice that is a bit quicker than some of these other abilities.
Alright, Flywing gets stunned but gets sent forward. Follow-up stun on Yang. This is decent damage on the Underlord, but certainly not enough to kill him. Flywing wants to keep on chasing. POW also going to be sent packing. And Eurus and Ori down bottom looking to quickly pick up this tier 1 tower, though Monet has something to say about that, along with the glyph being popped. Setsu is going to be going for a pipe here, so Centaur's already got a pipe.
I think he just wants the hood, just for that little bit of extra
enough.
survivability for himself. He doesn't really need to worry about the rest of the team.
So they've got 2 hoods and a pipe. Definitely needing some answers against the Firestorm, for sure.
And the Void Spirit.
Yeah, that's true. Void Spirit going for Aghanim Scepter. Would you like the choice?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the sort of thing where if you're on point, you should nearly never be getting caught out with any of these stuns. Maybe the Centaur once he has the Blink Dagger, but he's still a little bit away from it.
RNG trying to defend here at mid, but Vici already pretty set up. They see Setsu walking in, and he just has to waddle in and Ravage if they want to go for it. Stun catches the Centaur, a little bit of poking, a little bit of prodding, but it is Vici taking out the tower in the end. Monet still a ways away from his Diffusal Blade. I really thought with all of this alone time in the jungle that he would have gotten a little bit more farm going, but really not the case. Or even coming down here to say hi, doesn't have to worry about the mana burn just yet. Diffusal Blade not yet picked up. And Vici, as always, like really good at just keeping these lanes pressured out. Though Monet is still kind of making his way back and forth on this right side of the map, just picking up a little bit of additional farm here and there. Still really no sense for me of the Centaur having much of an impact this game, other than just walking to lanes and spamming them out, though. I guess you can kind of say the same thing about the Underlord. It's been a very slow-paced game.
Yeah. One thing
Setsu! TP got interrupted. September gonna try and get him out of here, but I think now the Snapfire is also just dead. Yep, alright, Snap dead. Setsu, all he can do is walk this one off, but he's getting chased by everybody. Pops the Ravage to try and get out of here. That is a nice 5-man Ravage. Will that get Setsu out of harm's way? Seems like that might be enough. 2 ultimates popped, just so the Watermelon can walk it off. Yeah, they did get the bottom tier too, so actually not that bad.
It's not bad, but when you think about it, I was just about to comment on the fact of this Mars's itemization. He's got a Desolator and an Imp Claw, so he was critting neutrals for about 650 damage, and that's only going to increase. So it's pretty dangerous, and by using the Ravage on the top side, it means that there's no defense against any sort of push that Vici might be trying to do, at least for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. So Eurus is TP bottom. I imagine that the rest of the team is just going to sweep across the map, and maybe they go tier 1, tier 2 at bot while kind of tightening the noose a little bit, because like you said, with no Ravage, it really should not be easy for RNG to fight. So we should sort of have... Oh, that's the wrong one. Should sort of have this movement across, just containing RNG. And
yep.
We do see DY and Yang making their way over. Ori a little bit slower, just stealing a bit more farm out of the Dire jungle. And
they're making their way towards bot. I don't know, I feel like mid is still a really good option for them because it prevents that glyph from being reset.
Yeah.
So maybe I thought they might have sent Eurus down there to push out the wave a little bit. He's relatively tanky on his own, so he's probably not going to die. And then just have the other 4 start the push mid and have him connect.
Yeah, I do definitely think, like you're saying, that the Ravage being down should be some kind of an objective for Vici, though. I guess maybe they're just too close to this Ags and they really, really wanted it on Ori, so it's now getting shipped out, and okay, they are making a little bit more of a move for bottom at this point. But yeah, also being very disciplined about keeping heroes in the other lanes to keep things shoved out.
I mean, on RNG's side, they don't really care about the tier 1. The tier 2, though, is a very different prospect, and you can see the TPs start to come through from RNG to try and defend it. They don't want to use the glyph for it either.
Oh, jump in, Ori. There's that sound. This Ags is actually probably really annoying for Phantom Lancer, right?
Ooh.
The silence plus more charges on Resonant Pulse.
Yeah, at least pre-Manta style it is. It's something really punishing if you're able to get it early on. The big difficulty with it is that the build into it sucks.
Yeah.
So he's done a good job to be able to get this while not falling too far behind in terms of net worth.
Also kind of infuriating for the Tide, potentially. Oh, Setsu, can they bounce him out? Nice Fire Snap cookie. It's going to be what they need. And away he goes. Could maybe be a little bit of an opportunity now for RNG as they've got the Ravage up, but do they have the all-important Diffusal Blade? Looks like it is making its way out on the Phantom Lancer right this second. And Centaur half going for a blink, has kind of picked up a plate mail as well, looking towards the Lotus. Content to just keep on farming, and I guess like we've been saying, the onus isn't really on RNG so much this game as it is on Vici to keep the pressure going.
Yeah, and they've just added another tool to their arsenal with a minus armor strat really coming into the equation. It's only about 800 gold left until Setsu finishes up his Solar Crest.
Vici, alright. Heroes spotting heroes. RNG thinking about the fight now. Ori just on their retreat. DY, it's got some phase boots. He'll be okay. Mid lane, they do get a gush out onto Yang. Thinking about some kind of a go here, though they do have to go through the Pit of Malice. Going to be a little bit tricky. And what's Eurus got? He's almost got BKB. Okay, this has to be some kind of a timing here. They've got a Halberd on the Underlord, they've got the BKB on the Mars, and they've got the Aghanim Scepter on the Void Spirit. If they aren't now able to go and take some kind of a fight and make something happen, I am actually very worried for their prospect if they continue to let this PL farm. Because he's still got kind of middling net worth, but if this game goes long enough, eventually that's going to change. And change in a worrying way. If you reach, I guess they still have more ways to itemize against the PL. Like, there's still no Crimson Guard yet. Of course, you can always get the Mars Ags to give him more AoE clear.
Here we go, RNG, Blink Dagger, and Solar Crest finish.
Smoke. Eurus, can he get the BKB off? He does, but it's only on the 2 supports, and they've got the Underwood on the other side, just completely bursting down Yang. 1-for-1 trade so far. Ori goes in deep, gets the silence onto Monet, but he's still pretty tanky. Ori looking for the jump out now, as Setsu just keeps on chasing right on top of 3 heroes, gets the gush out. September going to be looking for the slowdown. Monet coming in, that blink on Flywind doing its work. Mars, nice 3-man stomp from the Elder Titan. DY opening up the space, getting his carry out of there, but that is just a 1-for-1 trade, and definitely a 1-for-1 trade that's favoring RNG after all is said and done.
Yeah, the instant lockdown onto the Underlord means he can't get off that Heaven's Halberd, and essentially you're pretty useless if you don't get off these active abilities due to the great crowd control that comes through from the enemy team. They're looking to try and turn it around though.
Yeah, they're showing their Phantom Lancer at top. DUI has the stomp, but no spirit for a second. Ori with the chase forward. Setsu, nice sidestep. Keeps on spamming out those anchor smashes. As he will also just sidestep the Echo Stomp. So, I guess Vici, they gotta just try and go, right? Ravage is on cooldown. Gotta try and make something happen. Otherwise, we're getting into some kind of situation where they have to, like, they gotta farm for carry Mars, basically, and just somehow hope that, like, position 1 Mars beats position 1 PL on even net worth late game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing that they're really super close to in terms of their item timing on Vici's end. So you'd have to think that the time for them is now building into, I would call them more luxury items, to be honest. Having BKB on this Lina, you're a position 4. That's the sort of thing that should only start to matter really into the late games, still having impact. But this early on, not quite as much.
Yeah. What else is going on? Centaur not going to be going for the Lotus in the end. It's just queuing up. Oh, he had an AC queued up for a second there. Now he's just got a BKB. Setsu able to kind of walk and just go wherever he wants, really. There is a gank connecting up here. We could see an actual team fight. Only 8 seconds to go on the Ravage. Can they actually bring down the tanky Fishman? His team is coming soon. 3, 2, 1 on this Ravage. September and Super. They're going to bounce him out. Here comes the Ravage. Too many stuns. Lina getting locked down. Can they keep the Tidehunter alive? Setsu living on a prayer. PYW throws out the nukes, but Setsu is still not dead. Vici's still tanky. They throw out a couple more. Yang evacs them out to safety. Lina does get left behind and Monet is somewhat chasing, but instead RNG will just set their sights on the tier 1 tower. What a weird team fight.
Yeah, I mean, no one was dying for the longest amount of time. Great job to keep them alive for that long. I think the big difference was that Monet just not able to rotate through quickly enough to make it a big impact.
We're back for Teamfight Part 2, but everybody from RNG has just scattered. Some bounty runes waiting down bottom. Looks like Super just gonna glide in and grab those. Yeah, that was... After I saw the 3-man Fire Snap cookie into the 4-man Ravage, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And then just didn't quite have the... Vici are also very tanky, so... Couldn't quite make it happen. Ooh, Monet in a little bit of danger. Cookie very useful though. Just pop him right out of the pit.
Really seems like Ags is the name of the game for a lot of these heroes now. It's a fair few queued up. You got Mars looking to go into it. You got Lina. Void Spirit's already picked up his. Phantom Lancer didn't want to fight until he had his. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. Do you think in general we have do you think Ags balance is in a good place? I guess we don't have too many compulsory ones these days compared to maybe in the past. I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I think it's always good just to add that extra flavor. It adds more options and decision making to the game. I completely agree on your end that there should never be one that you need to get 100% of the time. Probably one of the only ones would be Meepo, Invoker, like you kind of have to for them.
Is it still meta for Meepo? I'm not even certain that it is.
It's not even necessarily, actually. You're right. It's kind of like that 15 to 30 minute timing right now that makes it important for Meepo to try and end the games in, and you're more likely to get that done with an E-Blade, right? As opposed to...
Yeah, just stat up more than anything. Oh my god, Flywind's even thinking about an Abyssal Blade on this Centaur. He's really just thinking about the late game right click. He's very tanky. Spear completely off the mark for Burris. Cookie again. September is getting so much value out of just these little displacements for the team. And Flywind chooses to walk back in. Needs to be careful. This time around the Cookie's on cooldown. It will be the Spear, however, that pushes him out. Monet poking and prodding from the side. looking for his opportunity to come into this fight. Setsu's thinking about making a go. Does have the Ravage available, and I think RNG, end of the day, really just want this mid-tier 1 tower if they can get it. The line being drawn over into the Radiant jungle. Bit of farm there for Monet to grab, and just going for exactly the same build this game. Not even thinking about anything bigger than the S and Y. Nope, it's just tons of wards getting dropped down. Oh, Super also looking very dead, or making quick work of him. Oh, and they land the stun on September as he was trying to TP out. I don't know if they've seen him just yet, though. Are they going to realize that he's in there? Oh. All he can do is just hold his breath.
Doesn't have a TP, so...
Yeah, it got cancelled.
Is he ferrying one out to himself now? Yeah, that's the courier going along the right side of the map.
Okay. Well, he can even just go and cut a couple of waves, maybe. I don't think that would be a bad idea. He's got the ward.
Is he going to spot out spider legs on this courier?
Do you cut the wave or not? Or do you just try and wait for the TP and get out? Oh, he's thinking about it. Oh, now he's decided to cut the wave. Oh, there's actually stuff happening elsewhere. Hold that thought. Double damage Mars chasing after the Tidehunter. They've already lost the Centaur. We were too engrossed in the story of September trying to get back into the game. As Vici are now pushing down mid. Lotus is going to be the choice for Yang.
Still going to be at least 10 seconds until he can join in on this. So they've lost the tier 2 tower. They can see him pushing down bot, not wanting to contest just yet to push up onto that high ground, but looking pretty deadly, and Void Spirit probably just going to look to get his level 20 and then try and make something happen with the last 2 minutes of this Aegis.
What is the point of this Lotus Orb?
Who has it, sorry?
Yang has it queued up, the Underlord. Okay, he changed it to Shiva's. I was like, what on earth is the point of Lotus on Underlord this game? Oh, I reflected Sinister Gaze. Oh boy.
Got him. Reflect the gush? Try and...
yeah. So...
burst down the tank.
Right,
hero?
so first you need to have the gush be targeting one of the heroes that has Ags. That's step 1. And then you Lotus them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mars just hits everybody with the God's Rebuke.
Exactly, and then they explode.
Easy. And, you know, Elder Titan's in there as well with the Natural Order. But anyway, he's gone for Shiva. It's definitely a very nice anti-PL item, though. Have not seen that Crimson Guard at all this game. Monet with a Paladin Sword. To have a quick neutral item check-in as we start to get into some of the more relevant neutral items. Gotta
see what'll happen now. Sorry to interrupt. With Setsu now, he's hit his level 20, so he's got that -5 gush armor, which is going to be really important against basically every one of these heroes except the Underlord, because they're all sitting at around 10 or less armor on all of these Radiant heroes. So on his own, he's able to take off 20 armor using that Solar Crest. So there's some significant solo pickoff potential now.
Kind of like what we saw in the previous game with the Phantom Lancer and the Dazzle. All that minus armor when you've got so much physical damage can be really, really scary. TY making use of the spider legs, just hopping up some cliffs, getting some D-wards going. Ori working on, what's that, BKB? Coming up next. And RNG making some kind of a move here. Setsu's got a Heaven's Halberd.
Aegis is gone, so Vici having to be a little bit careful here. Got the timings for it. This is when they're looking to push forward here on RNG.
Yang trying to hold the line with the Shiva, but Setsu's still pretty tanky, walking forward. Throws at the Anchor Smash. This tower is still somehow alive. Can they get the Tidehunter out of here? I think he's going to be okay. September can't quite get into the fight, but the Watermelon is just too tanky. And Monet's in the backlands looking towards PYW. Needs to be careful, though. He gets Laguna Bladed. PYW puts the Phantom Lancer down. RNG could not help their carry, and that was a huge overextension from Monet. I think they're still thinking about fighting, as now the Snapfire ultimate comes in on top of the Ravage, but do they really have the damage? They don't. Eurus puts the Tidehunter down. Now Flywind completely surrounded. getting stomped up. Here comes the Earth Splitter, also catching September on the backlines, who's just going to try for the TP out. Ori not quite there in time with the Void Remnant, but... Ooh, Aether Remnant, sorry.
Ooh, aggressive TP up here.
Why
as
not?
well with the Underlord.
Let's go. Alright, force the buyback from the Lich. There is a glyph available. Vici straight up onto the high ground, and this is 190 bonus damage on the Underlord. That's going to force out yet another buyback. Vici just retreating. 12k lead, their advantage now as they continue pushing it. Moving past 75% win probability. And just what an overstep from Monet in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's Lena says it herself. If you play with fire, you get burned. And just going in there solo, they put a lot of effort and attention onto Setsu to start with. But Monet, he's got to play around the rest of his team. He was just in way too deep. You don't want to be, you know, that far behind enemy lines if you are this Lich, if you are this Snapfire. They had all the vision as well on this around this bottom area of the map through the Radiant High Ground.
Yeah, and he realized he'd overcommitted and then had to run back, and then Lena just tore his head clean off with the Ag's Laguna Blade. Just completely deleted him. So we'll have to be wary of that going forward, and just needs to rely on the chaos that his team can create with all the lockdown and the Ravage and everything else. He's even got a Satanic queued up next after that last fight, just wanting to tank up as much as possible.
And that's the thing as well, they didn't even have to commit that hard afterwards. It meant that they expended those 2 buybacks because they still continued to go in even after Monet was picked off. Despite the fact that he's, you know, obviously the POS 1 PL, he was only dead for 50 seconds and the lanes were relatively well pushed in. So, a bit of indecision and a bit of questionable decision making as well.
Yeah, they didn't need to fight after they've lost the PL. He's just too much of their damage, right? The Centaur and the Tide are tanky, but they're not doing sustained damage in the team fights. Vici in a nice position over here on the high ground. DY even lurking all the way up the cliff with his spider legs, and they're just gonna dangle Yang in the front lines. Here comes all that minus armor, but he's still pretty tanky, and the stomp completely off the mark. So Yang's just gonna go for the turnaround. Monet being much more cautious this time around. Ori going to be looking for his initiation. He's got a DD. Eurus also running forward. Yang getting dragged in the middle of everything. He's got a good arena down. Snapfire getting locked down. Ori finishes off that kill first. Setsu's still pretty tanky. He does have the Ravage available. He's still holding it, but they're going to lose Monet once again. That Laguna Blade making short work, and Eurus with these crits doing way too much damage. Finds a double kill, and it seems like Vici Gaming do still have the answers to this PL as we head into the mid to late game. Big 3-0 team fight. Flywin still getting chased in on the other side. Ori looking for this kill. We'll be able to grab it. And that might just be the game here, Danog.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. I mean, I was surprised that they were starting to rotate towards that bottom side, because they should know, you know, there's 2 diebacks that have been used. PL wasn't in the mood to buy back anytime soon, and poor Setsu in that last fight, you know, he didn't use anything. He didn't get off any sort of big gush. He didn't get a Ravage off. He didn't even use his magic stick or the halberd or anything. It just felt like he was a little bit in no man's land and just overwhelmed by the constant pressure and chaos that Vici was able to put forward.
He was just staring down the BKBs, right? He was sitting there in the middle of the arena of blood and just watching BKBs tick down, because that's what he had to do. Monet ends the game 0-2-2. They got decent farm on the Phantom Lancer, but turns out Vici, they had the draft that they wanted against the PL. They kind of baited it out early, and then things worked out fantastically from there with the Void Spirit and the Underlord. I mean, Underlord's scoreline not even that crazy at the end of the day, but the impact of the Firestorm and the constant lane pressure, not to mention the Atrophy Aura, just making Monet's life really hard. I mean, how much hero... He did a grand total of 5k hero damage that game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the downside of doing this 4 protect 1 strategy if it doesn't work out for you. You know, it's puts a lot of pressure on the rest of your heroes, and we saw a couple of times Vici Gaming realizing what was going to be the linchpin of RNG's draft and punishing Setsu, finishing 0-6-1. So, not the way he'd like to go about it.
Yeah. So what's the verdict on Tidehunter mid, Danog?
You got to protect him more. Like maybe if
Okay.
Super was there, kind of backing him up and instantly responding to any sort of ganks, then maybe. Because there were several times when they sent 3 heroes there, and it just felt like his team abandoned him.
Well, with that, Vici Gaming taking the series here, moving up a little bit further on the rankings. I believe they're now starting to nip at the heels of some of the top 3 teams, which is definitely good news for them. RNG, unfortunately, sliding a little bit more, 2 and 3. Still not at the at the bottom by any stretch of the imagination. Aster 1 and 5 below them. Ocean 1 and 6. But definitely some work to do this week if they want to land among that top 5. We're going to head to a quick break. We've got another best of 3 coming your way in just a few minutes. That's going to be IG versus Keen. And we should once again be starting with another 1v1 mid. So we're going to head to a quick break. We'll reset and then we'll come back here with that 1v1. Danog, any closing thoughts before we head to our next series?
Yeah, just keep playing Tide. Keep playing what's fun.
Right.
I want to see more crazy games like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun draft for sure. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you'll stick with us, and we'll see you back here for our next best of 3 in just a couple of minutes.